Thanks everybody for joining today. This is Chris Hinch, the Director of Professional Services for Stratum. On with me today we have Cyril Mitchell, one of our principal engineers here at Stratum, and today we're going to be talking about serverless solutions. So with that being said, let's just jump in. So Cyril, with how the cloud technologies and the as-a-services have evolved over the years, there's a newer phrase being turned out called that serverless solution. So what is that?
Well, serverless. Serverless is more or less, a lot of people think that when you say serverless that servers aren't involved. The way I look at it is when you say serverless is just less servers are involved. They've abstracted the server from the whole process. For instance, you no longer have to worry about how many servers to get, what types of servers to get, updating the operating system, monitoring, whatever the application, whatever, right? You no longer have to worry about that. All you have to do is just concentrate on creating your application, right? Because in the background, everything is like stateless, right? You don't have to worry about none of those server stuff now. That's totally out of your hands right now. Just create your application and upload it, and it runs.
All right, makes sense to me. So what's some advantages of doing stuff like that? I know you briefly went over to some, but I mean, if people are wanting to move that route, what will they gain? Like, is there cost gains? Is there performance?
Well, there's a cost. Definitely, there's a cost gain, right? Where you only pay for the microsecond, sub-second that you use. You no longer have to worry about paying for an entire server that you only use maybe an hour out of the whole day, entire day, right? So you only pay for that. You also don't have to worry about, again, like I said before, maintaining the server. You don't have to worry about upgrading the server. You don't have to worry about none of those things. Everything is just like event-based, event-driven, and you're quicker to market, right?
Yep.
You
that's always a win, right? Quicker to market's always a win.
Definitely.
All right, so when people are wanting to take advantage of these serverless solutions, what are some things they need to keep in mind before making the move? Because it's not just a snap of the fingers, tip of the hat, and you're there. So obviously there's some prepping. So what do they need to be aware to be, so they can move?
Well, what you need to be aware of is that you no longer need to, your applications are not going to be monolithic, right? Your applications are going to be more like a little like microservices. You're going to have an application that does, or a code that does one single thing, instead of having one huge application that does many things. So you can break it down in your code into many different little applications to do one particular thing.
All right, sounds good. As far as like supporting the serverless solution, do you feel like it's a tougher skill set in order for companies to move there, or do you feel like once they get it, like they can really streamline and project how they are moving? They're basically make their product better because of this stuff.
I think the skill set you're going to need for serverless, I think it's not as complicated as the skill set that you might need for, let's say, creating a full-fledged database application, right? Again, it's someone like me who has minimal coding skills can create a serverless application really easy, because, for instance, I might need an application to resize a JPEG file or a picture file, whatever it is, right? So I can write an application to do that. I might need to take care of, let's say, what happens when a certain event occurs. I can definitely write an application to handle that event. If there is, for instance, something happens, then I now have to send an email message using Office 365. I can write a little code to do that, be it PowerShell, be it Python, whatever. So it's easier to me than you don't need to have a full-fledged application development background. You know, it's for people like me, it's easier. I love it.
Yeah, I like it. Good stuff. Well, cool. Well, I appreciate it, man. This is some good stuff. So if you guys have any more questions or feedback you like from us, just hit us up and we will see if we can't get you some answers. But Cyril, I appreciate it today, and let's get back to it, man.
All right, man. Thanks. Take care.